If I told you there was one single technique, more subtle than any position, yet proven to help most women over 50 reach deeper, fuller pleasure, would you want to know what it is? The interesting part is, this technique has nothing to do with anything flashy or dramatic the movies like to show. It's right there in your hands, the very thing you carry with you every day, but may have never been guided properly to use as a secret weapon in intimacy. After 50, closeness in the bedroom changes in unique and unexpected ways. The body becomes more sensitive, emotions matter more, and every small movement carries more meaning than it used to. Many couples have told me that they still love each other deeply, but their intimate life has slowly become familiar to the point where it loses its spark. It's not anyone's fault, it's simply what happens as we age, while the way we love often stays exactly the same. I'm a doctor specializing in men's health for older adults, and over the years, I've walked alongside hundreds of men who wanted to regain confidence and reconnect with their partners. One thing I've seen again and again is this: just a few small adjustments in how you use your hands can bring her sensations the two of you may not have shared in years. Before we go any further, I'd love to know, what city or country are you watching from? Every time I read your answers, I feel the strength of our Men's Vitality Over 60 community, a place where mature gentlemen learn together with respect, sincerity, and real connection. In just a few minutes, we're going to talk about the 7 mistakes most men over 50 never realize they're making. And once you understand how to correct each tiny detail, your hands can give her moments that even the two of you didn't reach in your younger years. There's a simple truth many men discover only after turning 50. They still believe that what matters most in the bedroom is firmness, stamina, or the powerful movements that worked decades ago. But what many women at this age quietly desire is something softer, more refined, and far more attentive. And the reason is straightforward: a woman's body changes with time, and your hands, not any other part of your body, are actually the best tool to adapt to those changes. As estrogen declines, the vaginal tissues become more sensitive. Blood flow to the pelvic area needs a different kind of stimulation, gentler, more deliberate, to increase fully. And emotional signals, the very things many of us overlook in our younger years, begin to play a central role in her arousal and pleasure. All of this makes your hands an extraordinary instrument, soft, precise, and fully capable of controlling pressure, speed, rhythm, and depth. Women in their 50s and beyond often seek a deeper type of connection, the feeling of being listened to, cared for, and truly seen, and your hands are the easiest way to send that message without saying a single word. I've seen this countless times in my consultations. Many men simply adjust their touch, lighter, slower, more observant, and their intimate life changes instantly. She opens up more, her responses become stronger, and the closeness between them deepens in a very natural way. So if you've always thought your hands were just extra in the bedroom, give me a chance to surprise you in the upcoming sections. Mistake 1: ignoring the G-spot. In so many conversations with men over 50, I've noticed something interesting. Most of them have heard about the G-spot, but they've never been fully confident they're touching the right place or touching it the right way. And because they aren't sure, they quietly avoid it. That hesitation unknowingly makes both partners miss out on one of the deepest sources of pleasure for a woman in midlife. The G-spot sits about 1 inch inside the vagina on the front wall. If you imagine a clock, it's located around the 12 o'clock position. This area contains clusters of highly sensitive nerves designed to create a warm, full, spreading sensation through the pelvis, very different from the sharp surface-level pleasure of the clitoris. To touch the G-spot, start with one finger, curl it gently upward toward her belly, and create a smooth come-here motion, soft, steady, rhythmic. You can imagine it like you're inviting someone to come closer with a subtle bend of your finger, but the most important part isn't the motion. It's the observation. When you touch the right spot, her breathing often deepens. Her hips rise slightly. The muscles in her thighs may tighten, and sometimes you'll feel the inside gently contract around your finger. These are the body's, yes, right there, signals. Responses only the G-spot creates. I once worked with a 62-year-old man who'd been married for more than 3 decades. He admitted he had never been sure he was touching the G-spot correctly. After learning the proper technique, he told me his wife teared up. Not from pain, but from the feeling of being understood in a way they had unknowingly missed for years. That is the power of the G-spot. It's not just about pleasure, it's about connection. Mistake 2: not reading her signals. One of the most common mistakes men make after 50 has nothing to do with technique. It's the tendency to go solo. Many men focus so much on what their hands are doing that they forget a woman's body is always talking. It just speaks in very subtle signals. Her breathing, the tilt of her hips, the gentle tightening of her thighs, a soft sound she doesn't even realize she made. All of these are direct instructions telling you whether you're on the right track or whether you need to adjust. When a woman is genuinely aroused, her body almost always tells you the only question is whether you're paying attention. Women over 50 often respond differently compared to when they were in their 20s or 30s. They're usually less loud but far more sensitive to small changes. A slightly slower motion can make her rise with stronger intensity. A tiny shift in angle can pull her out of her rhythm. And the speed you think is right might only need the smallest adjustment to feel completely different to her. A simple, gentle question like, "Do you like this more?" when said with sincerity, doesn't ruin the mood. In fact, it often makes her feel deeply cared for. The key is not to ask constantly, but to ask at the right moment when you sense a change in her body and want to confirm what she needs. One of my patients once told me that just by matching his pace to his wife's breathing, everything changed. He described it beautifully instead of trying. He started moving with her, and that shift made their connection feel closer than it had in years. When you learn to read her signals, you're not just improving technique, you're entering a conversation through touch. A conversation she has always wanted you to hear. Mistake 3, rushing through foreplay. Many men have told me they see foreplay as a step, something to get through quickly before the main event. But for women over 50, foreplay isn't the introduction. It's the foundation that makes everything else possible. As hormones shift, a woman's body needs more time for blood to flow toward the pelvis, for the clitoris to become sensitive, for lubrication to increase, and for her emotions to open up. All of these things require gentleness, patience, and intention. When you skip foreplay, you unintentionally take away her ability to feel her deepest pleasure physically and emotionally. And foreplay doesn't need to be complicated. A warm kiss, a slow stroke along her neck, a soft touch down the inside of her thigh. Even the way you tease through her clothing can create powerful anticipation. For women in midlife, gradual buildup is often far more effective than going straight to direct stimulation. Remember a 67-year-old man telling me he'd spent his whole life going straight to the main part, believing that was what made him strong or masculine. But when he changed his approach, letting his hands and lips explore slowly before touching her most sensitive areas, his wife reacted in a completely different way. She opened up in front of me, he said, "I never knew just a few minutes of foreplay could make that big of a difference." Foreplay doesn't just awaken her body, it awakens the connection between you, something age cannot take away. Mistake 4, going inside too soon. One of the reasons many women over 50 become hesitant about intimacy isn't a lack of desire. It's that their bodies have become more sensitive with time. As the vaginal lining thins, any touch that's too strong or too sudden can create discomfort, sharpness, or an immediate loss of arousal. And unfortunately, many men unintentionally trigger this by slipping a finger inside too quickly. A woman's body needs preparation. Before she's ready, her intimate area is like a delicate doorway, one rushed movement and everything closes. But when you approach her the right way, each layer of sensation opens naturally. Start by letting your fingers glide along the outer lips, slow, soft, almost like a whisper of touch on her skin. Then create gentle circles around the clitoris, but without touching it directly yet. This encourages blood flow, warms the tissue, and activates her body's natural arousal response without overwhelming her. When she's truly aroused, you will feel it instantly. Her breath deepens, lubrication increases, her hips lift slightly or lean subtly into your hand. Those are invitations, her body's way of telling you she's ready for more. I once heard a woman describe how hitting the right rhythm during this warm-up made her feel seen, not just physically but emotionally. When she opened up both in her body and her heart, the pleasure that followed didn't require effort. It simply unfolded. Mistake 5, using too much pressure or too many fingers. Many men come into intimacy believing that stronger is better, or that more fingers mean more stimulation. It isn't their fault. Movies, jokes, and decades of misinformation have planted those ideas in our minds. But for women over 50, the body simply doesn't respond that way anymore. In fact, what moves them most deeply at this age is subtlety, softness, and precise control. As women age, the vaginal tissues become thinner, more delicate, and more easily irritated. A little too much pressure, or slipping in 2 fingers too soon, can make her pull away physically and emotionally. And the sad truth is, many women won't say a word about it, heard about. Not because they don't feel the discomfort, but because they don't want to hurt your feelings or interrupt the moment. That's why you should always start with just one finger, applying the same gentle pressure you'd use to stroke your own eyelid. When you touch her sensitive areas, softness is the key that helps her relax, and that relaxation is exactly what allows deeper pleasure to spread. When she's truly ready for more, you won't have to guess. Her body will tell you clearly, her vagina naturally opens more. Lubrication increases, she subtly presses into your hand. If you don't feel those signals, it simply means her body needs more time. Nothing is wrong, nothing is failing. She just needs a few more moments of warmth and build up. One of my patients once told me he always assumed 2 fingers were standard, but when he switched to just 1 finger, slower, softer, and paying attention to his wife's reactions, the entire experience changed. She opened up in a way I'd never seen before, he said. Sometimes less truly is more. Mistake 6, neglecting hand hygiene. This is a small mistake, but it creates bigger problems than most men realize. Many gentlemen don't intentionally skip this step. They simply don't know how much their hands, nails, or dry skin can affect a woman's comfort and safety, especially for women over 50 whose vaginal tissues are more sensitive and prone to irritation. A slightly long nail, an edge that hasn't been filed smooth, or tiny debris under the nail can create micro scratches. You won't see them, but she definitely feels them. Those tiny scratches can cause burning, discomfort, or soreness, and they increase the risk of infection. Even worse, they may make her hesitant the next time you try to be intimate. Think of your hands as part of the gentle preparation before closeness. Wash them with warm water and soap. Trim your nails short and file them smooth. Check for any dry or rough skin areas. Warm your hands before touching her body. One gentleman once told me his wife felt pain for weeks, all because a small part of his nail was sharp. He had no idea until she mentioned it during a joint consultation. And something remarkable happened. After one simple change, he trimmed and filed his nails carefully. Her reactions improved almost immediately. Clean, soft, well-prepared hands don't just increase pleasure. They send a message that you respect her body, that you pay attention, and that you care. Mistake 7. Lacking emotional connection. Many men focus so heavily on technique that they forget something essential. For women over 50, pleasure isn't just about the right spot, the right pressure, or the right rhythm. What truly opens them is the feeling of emotional safety, love, and connection. At this age, the emotional and physical sides of intimacy blend together more than most people realize. When a woman feels seen, appreciated, and genuinely listened to, her body responds naturally. Blood flows more easily to the pelvis. The clitoris becomes more sensitive. Her pleasure deepens, all because the foundation is emotional, not mechanical. That's why mechanical movements, even the most accurate ones, struggle to create a full orgasm when they're disconnected from emotion. But something as simple as placing your hand gently on her back, holding eye contact for a few seconds, or whispering a sincere, "I love being close to you," can change her entire response. Emotional connection isn't about dramatic romantic lines, it's presence, it's slowness, it's patience, it's letting her feel that you're there for her, not just there to complete a task. I once worked with a couple who had been together for more than 30 years. When the husband began taking a few seconds to look into his wife's eyes during intimacy, just that one change, everything shifted. I don't know why that moment made everything deeper, he told me. It felt like we were starting over, but better somehow. That's what emotional connection does. It turns technique into experience and intimacy into bonding. Once you understand the 7 common mistakes, the next step is knowing how to create an intimate experience that feels natural, smooth, and deeply connected. Below is the 7-step process I often teach men over 50. One that has transformed intimacy for many couples. First, prepare your hands carefully, trim your nails, file them smooth, and wash them with warm water. This not only makes her feel comfortable, it also gives you the confidence that every touch will be gentle and safe. Then take your time, warming up her emotions and her body, soft kisses, slow strokes along her back. The quiet way you show her that your presence is fully with her. When the air between you becomes warm and connected, begin exploring the outside first. Glide your finger along her outer lips, letting your touch learn the contours of her body. Throughout this process, observe her reactions closely. Every breath, every shift of her body is valuable guidance, telling you whether to continue, slow down, or pause. When her body is ready, you can begin exploring the G-spot using a gentle, come here motion, adjusting rhythm and pressure based on how she responds. Never forget to maintain emotional connection. A brief look into her eyes, a soft whisper like, "I love this," or simply placing your free hand on her hip. All of these small gestures deepen the moment far more than technique alone ever could. And finally, check your rhythm, angle, and pressure. Your attentiveness is what helps her feel safe, cherished, and held. When people talk about intimacy after 50, they often assume it's all about strength, stamina, or trying to perform the way they did decades ago. But after years of working with older couples, I've learned that the true power of closeness at this stage of life comes from the smallest things: attention, patience, presence, gentleness, and the way you use your hands as a quiet, loving language. The beautiful part is you don't have to reinvent yourself. You don't need to become someone new, and you don't need anything complicated. Just observing a little more, slowing down a little more, being a little more intentional can create moments the two of you will remember for a very long time. So tonight, if you move closer to her, come with a softness that you rarely understand. Start slow, pay attention, let her body guide you, and let what you've learned today become a gift you both get to enjoy. If this spoke to you in any way, I'd love to hear from you. Share what surprised you most or what you'd like to try first. And if you want more honest, thoughtful guidance made specifically for men over 50, I'm always here with you at Men's Vitality Over 60. Age doesn't take away intimacy, it simply teaches us to treasure every moment.